Outlaw 1312 here. I got another do-it-yourself, save your money. So winter season, and it's pretty cold most of the northern United States, even Midwestern. So I've been looking at wood stoves because I'm all about saving money. I've always been fond of wood burning stoves, but they also have a huge money saving factor and anybody can appreciate that. So I was looking at some online, and they're all about, I want to say, goodness, some of them are $1,200 and down to the cheaper ones $600, and you might get lucky and find a few used or maybe one real cheap, and if they are that cheap, they're tiny. For $300, maybe a little less, and if you do, you're real lucky. So anyhow, I didn't want to spend that kind of money. So, you know, my kind of MO, do it yourself, save your money. So first I built this one right here out of this little bucket. And I built this one. This was a cement sealer can or cement sealer bucket that was sitting outside of a job site where they're building a house in this little development. And so was all this steel. It's just AC duct vent steel. And apparently they were done with it, decided they didn't want it. It was no good, which I thought was a little wasteful. So I snatched it up. And while there is some wisdom in the Bible, one of those being waste not, want not. So I made this one because I like to be smart, or try to be as smart as the brains I was blessed with. When I don't understand something and I don't really know what I'm doing, I like to try my hand at it first in a simple application, kind of get a feel for it. So that's what I did here. So this one doesn't have secure legs, so I kind of have to yank it around a little bit. So anyhow, I just cut a hole. I pulled the top off, cut a hole in it. This had an outlet. It had a little plastic thing, you know, to let the sealer out with a pour spout. I just cut that out. I took that metal and banded it over several times. So I took this cutout and I put it over some steel, and I measured it, leaving room for a couple inches above on all sides, about 1.5 inches on all sides. Then I made it double long with a little extra room so that I could fold it in half and then fold this side over. And the screws didn't tap through it like I thought they would, but it holds well. And believe it or not, this thing, having this steel in the center with double walls of this thing stays cool on the outside. Like, I was touching the outside of this door, it wasn't hot. Same thing with this. You can see the seam. I just made a nice little band of, I want to say about four layers thick. Beat it down with a ball peen hammer till it was nice and flat. And I mean, it came out really nice and flat. And I made this little closing bracket too. See if you can give you a look in there. I don't know if you can see. It's got a pretty good capacity. I was already burning some stuff in there, and it burned really good. Too good. So this would make an excellent little camp stove. If you lived in a trailer and you had, you know, ceramic tiles and bricks and a heat shield to put behind it, you could absolutely use this. Later I might act one of those griddles that they sell at Walmart to go on your grill, and drill some holes here and here and here and here, put some legs up and bolt it down, and put a griddle on the top of this just for the heck of it. But I'm also thinking about repurposing this one into a water heating stove, which what you do is you coil copper pipe around it, and you leave an outlet at the top and an inlet at the bottom. And what happens is, if your water source, your water basin, whatever you've got your water in, sits above your heat source where the water runs down to into the copper coil, it will create its own thermal reaction that will pump the water back up to the water basin. And you want your inlet for your hot to be about center mass, maybe slightly above center mass. And what happens is it creates its own thermal barriers. The cold water, of course, runs out from the bottom, so it's dumping that hot water back in at the top. And the whole top, about 3/4 of that thing, from 3/4 up, should be hot water. So that's what I'm thinking about doing with this one, or putting a grate on it for the hot water heater and making this one a camp stove, because it's just really works really well. So anyhow, this one is an old RV propane can that I had laying around, and they're a little taller than your average propane. So this is an RV propane can, more of that banded steel. And then this is a bracket that I got from Lowe's. And what this bracket is it's for like reinforcing wood structures. You know, like if you do framing and whatnot, that's to band things together so they hold. But I cut it right here, and I was able to get 2 pieces. And then this is actually the handle off of this bucket, and I just wound it around and then bent it to itself. And these are all self-tapping screws. I did pre-drill them, but they're self-tapping screws. Some old cabinet hinges. Same thing on this one. And the top, I left this handle on here actually because, believe it or not, this is cool to the touch. Like, there's wood in here right now. And this stays cool to the touch, so I could pick this up and move it around if I wanted to. Say if I use this in a tent. But this is big enough that you could heat a small house, no problems. So I bought a little 4-inch outlet, and I put it down on there, and I traced from the inside of the outlet, not the outside, because here's the thing. You can always take more out, but you can't put any back once you cut it. So go from the inside and then work your way out until it fits. And that's what I did. So I cut it out, and then I worked the edges out until the outlet would fit through. And I pulled it tight, and I felt where the little flaps were, the little tabs that bend over. And I marked out 8 screw holes and drilled them out. And those are sheet metal screws. Screwed it in, it was good to go. And I'm going to get some of that vent taping. And they've got a vent silicone and whatnot. But you can see it over here. Okay. So, yeah. The rest of these, I drilled them out, self-tapped. And then last but not least, I made the door kind of a gate, the vent door. And that's because, and see, this thing actually, it's staying cool. So I made this like this because, first of all, it was simple, and I thought about it for a while. And you can do the rounded ones, and you basically just take a plate and drill 4 holes, and then make a circle, and you screw that plate on, and you make a circle and drill 4 holes in it. And then you just screw it on in the middle, and you can turn it. But I didn't really want to do all that. So what I did was I just banded over some more plate steel, and then I took the grinder and I made some grooves, and I put washers and nuts on it, and now it can gate up and down, which for me worked out better, because say if I fill this thing up with wood and it's all ready to go, I can just stick a fucking blowtorch in there. I can stick a blowtorch in there, and I'm good to go. So saved myself probably about $400 at least. So do it yourself, save your money, and that's my tip for the day, you guys. So again, like I said, I like to be smart, as smart as my brains allow. If you want to do something like this, go online, do like I do. Watch some videos, get a good feel for it. Watch several. Make sure you find somewhere they're explaining what's going on fairly well. Not too much, because sometimes people can babble, and you end up getting confused more than you get a good understanding of what's going on. And I'm not a big fan of people that just go on YouTube, and they don't tell you what it is they're trying to give you insight on or bring you up to speed on. They spend too much time talking about crap that's irrelevant. So anyhow, hopefully I didn't do that, and this was helpful to you guys. And some of you guys, well, what, I can do that. I can build a wood burning stove. I can save me some money, and you'll do it. So do it yourself. Save your money. Outlaw 1312 out. Thanks for watching, guys.